application of watershed development on the campus looks something like this. We have, in fact, 6 lakes created on the campus. They are all man-made. Not a single lake is natural. And the smallest lake is maybe around 3-hectare water spread area, whereas the biggest one is 20 times this size, that is 60 hectares. And again, I'm reminding you, it's all man-made, and they were created right at the beginning of campus development. And the entire campus of 1400 hectares has been subdivided into 6-hectare blocks, and then water bodies are created in such a way the catchment area feeds excess rainwater and even irrigation water back to the nearest water body. And the beauty again is, like when you see this lake on your right bottom corner, this is one lake from where, when we harvest rainwater, that water is pumped to this elevated water tank. And one of the very interesting, very unique feature of this campus is we have about 40% red soils, alphisols, and the remaining 60% is vertisols. So that is one of the important reasons why ICRISAT campus came to this particular geography, created these elevated water tanks, one for red soil, one for black soil, and the lake water is pumped to those elevated tanks. Look at the visionary planning and then execution of those plans using best of the science and technology means that were available in early 70s. What they have done is, these elevated storage tanks are meant to store the water above surface, and you don't really have to pump this water to elevated tank during office hours. That is the time when your energy demand is at peak. The office is running, gadgets, laboratories, all sorts of energy consumption is happening. If you also irrigate water to your agricultural fields using electrical energy, you would be ending up paying more cost for irrigating. Instead, we pump this water during mornings, evenings, or most likely on weekends to elevated tanks from the subsurface lakes to elevated tank. And every 6-hectare block is provided with a wall, and the water is delivered to every corner of the campus, 1400 hectares by gravity, natural gradient. So you don't really depend on energy for irrigation, except in cases where you are using large-scale drip irrigation or sprinkler irrigation when extra pressure is to be generated, and that is where they use diesel engines. So this is just a kind of overview, and this is how the campus looks on map. You can very clearly see right hand side, it's all red soils, and left hand side black soils. It's 40-60, yeah, and this is all natural. The water bodies and how the red and black soils are subdivided is indicated there. Coming to one example of rainwater harvesting by watershed approach, these are 2 attached or 2 lakes right in front of the campus or our main office building, and you can see the technical data there. This was again constructed sometime in early 70s and then desilted in 2004. And the bigger one is a campus lake and the smaller one is annex. And together they formulate 9-hectare area. The first bigger lake, that is 6-hectare one, it gets water from 130-hectare catchment area. And this again, it was not like this when ICRISAT came in. And this 130 hectare is a watershed created by creating gradients, slopes, and maintaining also farmlands where you don't really see those gradients, but it is designed in such a subtle way so that you irrigate, you grow crops, but only when there is excess water after saturation, the rainwater or irrigation water is diverted to this lake. And yeah, as I said, there are totally 6 such lakes created on the campus. Now, how the rainwater is being diverted to this particular lake? You will see those big canals. Only when there is more water gushing down, we have created those cemented channels. But otherwise, most of the precision farms or the campus land feeds the excess rainwater to this tank through these waterways created in front of this building, which is clearly covered by grass. So we have minimized use of cement, and it is only the gradient plus the grass cover. And that grass cover again is meant to play a couple of roles. Like one is apparently when you are not growing any crop on a land, in order to maintain the fertility, in order to avoid the desiccation of humus in the soil, you are growing that grass in order to avoid direct incidence of sunlight on the soil surface. At the same time, when the water is flowing, this grass acts as a barrier. It's literally like filter. It allows water to move and holds back the soil. That way you minimize the erosion. Now this farm pond is next to that lake, which is again connected. You can see that pipe. That pipe feeds this farm pond. In fact, we have 4 such farm ponds before we reach the natural lake just outside our western boundary, that is Patancheru, the natural lake. So only after all our water bodies are filled in, the excess water is allowed to go into the natural lake, that is Patancheru. Now here again, you will see those gradients and the grass cover. You can see here one arrow mark. Even in the landscape, there are gradients created so that the water comes and reaches the lake on the right, or rather left side of the, in fact, the lake is right in front of this building. So the water from here is diverted to the diversion channels here. And then here, again, the grass leads water in front of this building. And that is how there are ways created without a disruption, so that there is no unwanted impounding of water on the campus. Every drop of water is diverted to the nearest water body.